The chair recognizes Mr. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Who else?
What a great honor it is for me to be in your presence. I appreciate you serving your country. I appreciate you coming and being here with us today. Semper Fidelis. Part of the withdrawal, I noticed that when I was there in 2016, we lost an American serviceman. Another person died while we were there. But over the course of that last 10 years we were in Afghanistan, we didn't lose too many people, if I remember correctly. Would you all agree? For those of you who are historians of the Afghan war, in the last 10 years, we lost probably fewer than we lost that last day we withdrew. So I would make the case that with fewer people than we have stationed in Spain, a country we've never fought in, we stabilized an entire country in a very strategically important area, where now we have half the population in abject slavery because of their gender, where you now have a harboring nation of many bad guys who want to do bad things to good people. So I would make the case that maybe we shouldn't have withdrawn. It doesn't matter. I don't care who president is. I'm not going to make this political. And I find it ironic that some of the Democrat colleagues that I have here today say we shouldn't make this political, and then immediately the next sentence out of their mouth is it's Trump's fault. I don't really care. But I don't think we can start the healing process until we do have accountability, and I don't feel like we have that. And you talked about healing, Lieutenant Colonel. I want to talk to you as the senior ranking guy on the panel, at least for right now. For those members who haven't been through command and staff or war college, just some basic questions here. Let's see. Can a military leader move a date for any withdrawal anytime they please if they're the top guy or gal?
It's like a withdrawal of forces? No.
So they can't decide what date they want to move out on? I mean,
if it's his operation.
Yeah. So for example, if you're the commander in chief, you can decide what date you want to leave, right?
Absolutely.
Are you married to any date that some prior commander who no longer is in charge? Are you obligated to the date that they set previously?
It's typically event driven.
Yeah. So you can decide if you're the commander in chief what date you want to withdraw, and how you want to do it. Correct? I mean, that's basic command leadership. You can decide if you're in charge. You get to call the shots. I'm drawing this because I think if we want to blame somebody else for your leadership mistakes at that time, I think that's a false narrative, and I think that's been done several times during this argument of accountability. And I want to ask each one of you, because this is the important part. We're here to talk about one specific day and one specific withdrawal in one specific location. Do you think there was accountability for those people who made egregious mistakes? And I think we can all say somebody made egregious mistakes that day. Do you think those people were held accountable? Does anybody think that there was accountability? And if who was held accountable? So I'm assuming nobody here thinks that anybody's held accountable. So my question is, if we're going to have an entire hearing, we're going to have all these fine people who have sacrificed their lives, if we talk about traumatic brain injuries, limbs lost, family members lost, friends lost, time spent away from family, years away from our family, and then we look down the line and we say, not one person was held accountable that made these decisions, then how can we learn and how can we heal? And that's my question to you. How are we? I'm getting emotional right now because this stuff matters. If we don't have accountability for the people who made those decisions, how can we heal as people and as a nation? And it's my humble opinion that we haven't had 1 ounce of accountability unless you can tell me where you've seen it. And if you can't, it's got to hurt you. And there was stone cold silence when I asked you if anybody's held accountable. That's how I feel too. And that's why we have suicide problems, in my opinion, as an ER doc who gets to witness people come into ER with horrible PTSD and depression and suicidality because of this war. Do you guys have any other idea how we can heal without accountability? So have we done our job to hold those people who made the decisions, who were responsible for those decisions on that day in that theater, have we held them accountable? and you're allowed to have an opinion. Matter of fact, there's nobody more qualified to have an opinion than you. Have we held anybody accountable?
Not yet, Chairman.